Hi there. Recently I got a few questions regarding seated training in Silat. Now, first off, I'd like to say that this isn't something that you only see in Silat. You actually see seated training in many other places. But it is something which is a very common traditional factor in Silat. Now, why do you train seated down? I mean, most people would prefer standing because you could get full body movement and all these things. And you can train footwork, all this. Well, there are good reasons for it. Aside from the obvious, just this is tradition, so we've always done it. Now, this is a factor still. It is traditional and they still do it, even if some of the reasons for it no longer exists. One of the reasons that you do it is actually because you are very often training in somebody's house, in somebody's living room, and there might actually not be space to stand up training. There might be, the rest of the family might still be there, and sitting down might be the only way that you could train. Also, when I was in Malaysia, we trained in one of my instructor's house, and we started training 10 o'clock in the evening and finished 8 o'clock in the morning. So we went all night. So of course we did stand-up training too, but sometimes you trained while sitting down because you would have breaks because you didn't, it was a very long time to train, but you could still do something useful. So you didn't waste the training opportunity. Also, by sitting down, you are disconnecting your feet, your hips and your footwork. Now, this may seem like something you don't want to do, but there is, if you think about it, it's similar to isolating muscle groups. You will train your ability to use your hands separate from your feet, how to generate maximum amount of power and ability without using your feet, so that when you stand up and are allowed to also use your footwork, you become that much better. It's similar to doing a Smith curl. You're isolating one muscle. Here, of course, you're not isolating one muscle, you're isolating some muscle groups. But anyway, it has that function. But also, it is that from a self-defense point of view, actually training while sitting down can be useful. Because sometimes, or rather often, most of the time, you don't choose when you have to defend yourself. Sometimes the situation arises when you are sitting, and saying, oh wait, I'm just going to go up, maybe isn't really an option. So training, having the ability to do something while seated is useful. And as I said, this is something that shows up in other Asian martial arts. Japanese, you see them training Aikido, for example, do training from Seisa. It's not only that it's hard to do it, but it is actually useful. Sometimes you will be sitting. Also, I asked some of my HEMA friends, and they actually told me that at least in Cavendish there is some mention of seated training. So I think this is a concept that is prevalent throughout many cultures and throughout time. Sitting down actually has its uses. So I hope this was useful information for you guys, and if you was wondering about this, it's not purely a traditional thing, although it is that as well. You see this in Chimanda, you see it in many other systems that they are training sitting down at this part of the time. So I hope this was useful, and see you soon. Okay, bye-bye.